a lot of times influence is less about change and more about sort of making things clear or helping people see things that they haven't been focusing on.
Clarity and choices.
Clarity and choices. And a big part of helping people to become, again, the hero of their own story, so they're no longer victims or villains, is to empower them with the realization that clarity and choices is the way to go. When you realize that you have control over the way you approach things, the way you think, and fundamentally the beliefs that you have, that changes things. And I think a lot of the self-improvement or psychology area really speaks to ideas, or these are the beliefs you need to have, but not everyone always talks about, well, how do you build them?
Right.
And that's kind of what I'm more interested in, is not just what are the thoughts that, or what are the beliefs that you need to have, but okay, great. There's lots out there on that, but how do we actually build them in a comprehensive way? And I mean, we can reverse engineer it too. Whenever something goes wrong, whenever you're struggling with life, it's either because something's happened to you or something's happened in you. So when something's happened to you, it can be very easy for us to fall into a trap where we feel that we're the victim of our circumstance.
Okay.
For years, I was a therapist. And when I worked as a therapist, there was pretty much two patterns I noticed in people that came to me. One was people would come in with a victim mindset. The reason for my problems is because of my husband or wife, because of my parents, because of my friends, because of my siblings, because of the economy, because of the government, etc. Other people would come in as the villain, with the villain mindset, where they would say, the reason for my problems is me. I'm not good enough. I never was. I'm going to be found out any day now. I ruin everything I touch. I completely sabotage myself. And so for me, my job as a therapist back then was to help them to be able to go from the victim into the hero, or the villain into the hero, both of which require you to focus on what you can do and what you can control. And so getting back to your question, the times that we need to be able to shift our beliefs are the times where we're not getting the result that we want. And whether we blame ourselves for it or whether we blame the world for it, ultimately, we're the only ones that can actually do something about it. And for us to be able to change our behavior, we need to start with changing our beliefs, because beliefs are able to drive the behaviors. Because you can do something once off. If I try to make a change in my life, I can do it and reinforce it, but it doesn't guarantee that I'm going to become a different person. For me to become the different person that does this as a normal habit, I need to shift the beliefs about who I believe myself to be, why this matters, and how I'm going to be able to do it moving forward.
Do habits change beliefs, or do beliefs change habits?
Both. I think when you shift your beliefs, there's a notion in psychology called cognitive dissonance, whereby our behaviors and our identity oftentimes will conflict with each other. And so if your beliefs are out of whack with your behaviors, one or both are going to change. So for instance, if you believe I'm this type of person, but you try to do something else, a lot of times they've had situations where people won the lottery and they found themselves a few years later as being just as badly off as they were beforehand. And the explanation often is that they have this sort of, inverted commas, poverty consciousness. In other words, their beliefs are that I'm this type of person. And when they get the money, they don't know what to do with it because their beliefs are out of whack with what's actually happening. So on the one hand, if you believe something, you're going to prove yourself right in that way. The self-fulfilling prophecy, we sometimes call it. But on the flip side, if you change your behavior, oftentimes you can start to see yourself as that type of person. Like if you push yourself to run every single day, sooner or later you become a runner. And once you become a runner, that's when things really shift. So if you ask me which is more important, your behavior or belief, I would argue your belief, because that's what drives the behavior. But at the same time, one of the ways to change your belief is also to change the behavior. So
this is just like which came first, the chicken or the egg all over again.
Exactly.
Okay.